up? What's up, man? We're back again
Good
with
with
another
y'all,
podcast. You know, as I told you guys, we always gonna bring someone special on the podcast because that's the most important thing in our podcast. Because for example, as I always tell you guys like we're here to empower, motivate, and inspire to you guys. You know what I'm saying? So we always have to bring somebody that's gonna change your life, somebody that's gonna have some ideas that you guys don't even know about, that has been in a different field that you know what I'm saying many people haven't experienced. That's gonna motivate you guys. So yeah, Josh, what's up, man? How you
What's
been?
good with y'all, man?
Yeah.
Chilling, you know. Like you said, we're gonna bring in somebody who's gonna motivate y'all and inspire y'all to do something new, creative, you know.
Yeah.
And we got a guest over here. You wanna introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Nari. I am currently a college wrestler. I'm a junior in college wrestling out of Denton, Texas Women's University. I was a high school wrestler, one of the first women to win a high school state championship, one of the first women to win Athlete of the Year in a male-dominated sport, three-sport athlete, Athena Award winner, et cetera, et cetera. And now in college, I am currently ranked 14th in the NCAA. So yeah, just an athlete, really.
Yeah, she says that like it's something easy.
Like
You know what
some
I'm saying?
regular. She lowballing herself.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So yeah, Nari, I like starting off about like how you grew up. You know what I'm saying? What's your background and stuff like that. So I mean, if you can run us down how you grew up, how you come up and stuff. So that would be great.
Yeah, so I grew up in North Minneapolis.
That's what I say.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up in North Minneapolis. I went to Lucy Laney right there on Penn, ended up going to Northeast Middle School and then Edison High School, go Tommy's. I didn't really play any sports like that growing up. I kind of participated in a lot of our after-school activities for middle school and stuff like that, beats and rhymes. My sister was in it, and so I was always next to Royal Family Productions when it came to them making music and stuff like that, just kind of sitting back and watching. I was really into art, really into dance, skateboarding and stuff like that. And then I started to transition to sports when I got to high school. So I was just looking for something to put on my resume initially, and one of my deans came up to me and he told me like, hey, you should try wrestling if you're looking for something, because I didn't want to play basketball. I was too nervous to play basketball.
Yeah.
So I was telling him, I don't know what I was going to do. I was looking for something to put on my resume for college, and he told me to try wrestling. And I tried wrestling, and it was literally the hardest thing that I've ever done. Still to this day, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, if not the hardest. And but I stuck with it, and I ended up loving it. And I set goals for myself, and I ended up getting myself into college to wrestle.
Okay. So I mean, yeah. So let's say after your dean gave you an option or told you about wrestling, like were you like, was that a shock moment? Like, are you serious right now? You want me to do a wrestling as a female or?
Yeah. Well, actually, so I was more so shocked that wrestling was real. Because, you see, like, WWE, like, throwing chairs, slamming each other into tables. And I was like, man, I don't want to wrestle. Like, I grew up watching WWE and stuff like that. That was my stuff, but I didn't want to do it. It just looked real hard. And then when I actually got in there and I realized wrestling was not like WWE, and if anything, it was 100 times harder, like, that flipped the whole game for me. And I didn't really know that I was going to be wrestling men until I actually wrestled a man for the first time. And that was I don't know. I think I was just so scared. I don't think it would have made a difference on who I was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So wrestling was not something like you grew up like wanting to do. So what made you like try like go into wrestling, not only to put it on your resume, but just like what made you like oh, I can do this?
I think what made me stick with it. So like I said, we didn't wrestle girls. I played all male-dominated sports throughout high school, so I didn't wrestle a girl until maybe the end of that year, my freshman year. And I don't know, usually when I would lose to guys, I'd be like, whatever, like, you're a boy. Like, you got that advantage over me, you're a boy. But I lost to this girl by 1 point, and I knew I had to come back.
You were
I knew I
like,
had to come
nah.
back. It's like I don't have an excuse to be losing to you like that. So I knew I had to come back. I ended up coming back the next year and looking to wrestle her again. I lost again. I was like, oh my goodness, like and she was one of my rivals from Roosevelt, right around the
Roosevelt.
corner. Mm-hmm.
Oh, but yeah.
Yeah. So I was just training to beat her really, and then it became training to beat her, and then I beat her, and then I'm training to beat everybody else. You know, like it became like a kind of like a little rat race. You know, you never get satisfied when you're chasing a dream like that. So.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, how was it? Like, let's say you went the first year, you lost, and then you went the second year, and then you lost. Like, was there in your mind like, okay, am I even doing the right thing, or like, should I just try something else?
I think because I was getting so close, like, you know, the first year I only lost by a point. Like, you know how it is? Like, if you were off by a second right now in a race, you'd be like, let me run it back, like, immediately. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's something that you could switch so quick. So I was never really, like, discouraged about it, you know? So whenever I was losing, I was never discouraged about it. And wrestling is one of those things where it promises you that, you know, like, you get out whatever you put in. And so my whole plan was, as long as I outwork that opponent, then eventually I would win, you know? And it worked. Like, because it's literally 2 + 2 = 4 in the sense of, like, as long as you don't mentally, you know, choke in a situation like that, then you can get to where you want to be just by putting in the work to be there, you know? So, yeah. And it was just a point, like.
Okay. So, I mean, that year after you won, was that like, this now, I'm back on my line, or?
It didn't feel good.
Okay.
It didn't feel good. Like, you know, when you could taste it, like when it's almost there and you want it so bad, but you want it so bad, and the only reason why you want it so bad is because you knew you were so close anyway. And so it's almost like you're proving something to yourself that you already knew about yourself. You know, it's like, I lost by a point, or I lost because the ref made this call. And so it's kind of like that mini excuse in a way, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know that you're better. Like, you know that you could do better. But after you prove to yourself that you could do better, it's like I knew I could do this stuff. Like, kind of like a what's next type thing.
Okay. So now you're going to, now you're done with the high school, you go into college. So, like, what really kept you motivated to, you know what I'm saying, to keep going into college sports and be like, I'm very determined to take this sport as my personal career until, like, college-wise?
I think that I don't have like a typical story when it comes to playing college sports, although I can like point it out, you know? I would say when it comes to playing college sports, there's a point in time where every athlete makes the choice to actually do it, you know? Like, you see athletes commit to playing in college all the time, and then, or even going to college. You see students commit to going to college and then they don't go, you know? Or you see them commit to playing in sports or something like that, and then they fall out during fall camp or something like that, you know? So it's a choice. And I would say that I really made that decision for myself. I was burnt out my entire freshman year, but with me being so far away from home, I couldn't just leave, you know? And I'm the first in my family to go to a 4-year university or something like that, you know? So it's like I'm looking at the life that I have back at home, and I'm knowing that it's not like a dream that I've ever had. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't go to sleep and wake up praying to God that I'm in the position that I'm in right now, even though I'm grateful for the position that I'm in right now, right? So it's like I had to make that decision, you know, for myself to, like, keep doing it. I hope that answered it.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then is this something that even your parents were looking forward for you to keep doing, or they challenge you and be like, this is no for you or something?
I would say that majority of my parents or my mom challenging me came from, like, beginning of my career, because, like, when you're not good and you're losing, nobody's gonna believe in you, you know? But after, you know, I call it like the senior stardom, right? Because I feel like, excuse me again. All of your accomplishments are kind of highlighted when you become a senior in high school, you know? So it kind of just seems like way bigger than it actually is, right? And so, like, my mom loved it, right? Like, she loved attending all of the banquet dinners and, like, hearing this and receiving this plaque and getting this award in the mail. And, you know, like I did so many different interviews and stuff like that. So she's like, my baby is a star. Like still to this day, I have like a wall, right? And it's like all of my little accomplishments on the wall and stuff. So I was like, if you wrote a picture or something for your mom when you was in kindergarten, she put it up on the fridge. Like that's how my mom is. So she definitely supports it throughout college, right? And now I would say in high school, it was like, man, like, why do you have to practice this much? Or, you know, why do you have to do this? Or why do you have to do that? Or when I committed to actually wanting to be a good athlete, I said, Mom, like, the best in the world are training 2-3 times a day. That's what I have to do, too. She's like, I don't want to take you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to take you. You got to figure out how to get there, and you know. But in college, if stuff gets hard and I call her and I'm down about it, she'll be like, well, you got to finish, you know? Like, you got to get it done. Like, what else are you going to do? Because, like I said, it's not that easy for me to pack up and go home. I'm in Texas. That's a 14-hour drive, $500 flight. So sometimes you just got to suck it up.
Yeah. So how many more years you got left in college?
I have 2 more years of eligibility, though. So I was thinking about getting a master's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So is wrestling something you want to do after, like, college is done?
Yeah. So I want to give myself either to the next Olympic cycle, because I tried to make the Olympics this year, did not make it. But I wanted to give myself to the next Olympic cycle or to make a world team. So Worlds comes around every year. This year I was really close to making the U20 Worlds, which is, you know, there's age divisions and stuff like that. And I was 1 point away. I lost by 1 point. That's why I don't be giving.
Oh my God, yeah, that would be.
I was 1 point away. So from like making that podium, you know, and so like once you make that podium, then you get invited to Olympic Training Center. You get all of these opportunities and stuff like that. 1 point away. So I think that Worlds is closer to me. So I'll try to accomplish that. But you know, after that, I have other dreams and other goals. You know, I've been an athlete and accomplished a lot. So pretty happy with who I've been.
Okay. And then, I mean, after being on this sport right now, I mean, now you're in college about it, like, is this something now you're looking back and be like, I can't even believe, like, I'm doing this? Or, like, now I'm like, whoa, is this me for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say there's times, because Texas is so much different from Minnesota, there's times where I wake up in Texas and I'm not, you know, like, you ever woke up in a hotel and you're like, whoa, where's my room? You know, like, that's how I am in Texas sometimes. I would say that I prayed for the life that I live right now, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, there's times where sometimes I'm like, man, like, I can't believe that I'm out here. Like, I can't believe that this is happening. But, like, when I think about the problems that I have at home versus the problems that I have at school, like, man, I was 10 minutes late to class versus, like, man, I just spun out in the middle of, like, the snow or something crazy like that. You know, more serious scenarios, but, yeah.
Wow. And then now, like, you know, being an athlete mostly in college or like athlete wise, because I mean, like I always tell everybody when I hear everybody talk about athletic, like I used to run a lot. I mean, I did nationals, whatever, state champ, all that stuff. But then I didn't go that way. Now I'm just filming, doing podcasts and all that stuff. So like my mindset is different.
I be telling this nigga, man, like how you end up sitting next to me, dude?
It's weird because
dude supposed to be in the Olympics, man. I was
2024.
Like,
that was on Instagram. Are you seen like when you do the stories or whatever, like on whatever highlights?
Yeah.
2024 was my dream to go to France for running. I used to run cross country and track. I was one of the best in the state. Now I look back, I'm like, whoa. I have like some few friends, one college right now. Yeah. And one of them made it to Olympics. He ran for Liberia in Olympics. But now I'm looking at them like, whoa, was that, if I continued doing that, was that something that I could have kept doing, you know? Yeah. And the most thing that really challenged me is 2022, during COVID, when you're not training with nobody. And then that year just went by so fast. That was my year in high school. So that year went by fast, and that's the year I wanted to go back to Africa to go to train and then come back and run. So in the year 2022 was a really challenge. So while you were doing sports, how was that year for you? Like COVID time, was that something like that really like challenged you in any type of way, or are you still practicing?
Yeah, so I still was practicing. I was practicing in my room and at home. Because like I said, I was so close. Like, man, on the state level, on the national level and stuff like that, like I was thinking that I was about to have a breakthrough. You know what I mean? Like, you know how you can just feel it?
Yeah.
And I remember being in practice, you know, like training for the state tournament and everything. Like we're getting ready, like we're just staying in shape. And then my coach walks in and he's like, this is like what? The same week of the state tournament or something like that. And he's like, state has been canceled. You know?
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
Like crazy event, right? Because
Yes.
it's like, dang, I just spent this whole year grinding. Like, what you mean? It's just canceled in the blink of an eye, you know? But in my head, I'm like, man, I've never experienced a pandemic. And, you know, I don't know, maybe I didn't pay too much attention in history class when they were talking about how long stuff like that could last. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I could have the state tournament back in a little bit. Or maybe if not the state tournament, then I could go to nationals. And if not nationals, then the next season. And so I continued to train. And I had one of my teammates' dad, he bought like a big wrestling mat and he cut it. And he sent us all like 5x7 mats. So he like dropped them off to our houses and stuff. And so I put it on like I was outside on the grass. Before that I was just like doing little drills and stuff in the grass. And then I put it like on the grass and then my coach would run practices on Zoom.
Oh man. Yeah.
Wrestlers are insane.
Yeah.
Like,
wrestlers are insane.
By yourself?
Yes. So I was just out, I was shooting on chairs, you know, like just
How
doing
does that
what I could.
work?
Honestly, it's not too hard.
Like wrestle by yourself?
Yeah. Cause you know, like you almost like think about shadow boxing or something like that,
Okay.
right? Same thing. Like in wrestling, it's called stance in motion, but it's the same thing. You kind of just imagining somebody in front of you, imagining your opponent. If you have a chair in front of you or something like that, imagining that the two legs on the chair are like the two legs on a human being and stuff like that. But I do think that it helped me. It helped me because now I still use that technique till this day. Like if I don't have anybody to work with, I'm just gonna wrestle myself. Like, you know, and it's like I can do like a move or something like that on the air, and I know people who can't even do it on a person. You know, so it's almost like it made me like a better athlete in that type of way. But yeah, I continued to train. Yeah, I kept training because I was only a sophomore in high school. So
Yeah.
So I mean, did it feel weird? Like now it came to the point where you're not training, your coach is not even there in person. Mm-hmm. Now he's on Zoom. Did it feel like, okay, bro, how is this even happening right now?
Yeah. Honestly though, it was a change of scenery for me.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind practicing outside. I mean, like wrestling is such a dungeon type sport where it's like you're usually in the basement. Nobody cares about it. Like they give you like an old janitor's closet to work in with a little mat and the lights are all dim. So like I enjoyed being outside and having fresh air and the sun is setting and I'm sitting out here doing my little workout or whatever, you know. Uh-huh. And because we didn't have each other, our coaches were mixing up the workouts and stuff. So it was always something new. It didn't feel as repetitive, you know?
Yeah.
Super cool. I enjoyed it.
So even if you didn't make it to the Olympics, what's the process of going to like making it basically to the Olympics?
To the Olympics? Okay. So there's the Olympic team trials qualifier, right? And then if you place first, right? Because wrestling is an all individual sport. It's not like you can bring a whole team with you, right? So Olympic team trials qualifier. And then if you place first, then you get a bid into the Olympic trials tournament, right? And then if you win the Olympic trials tournament, then you make the Olympic team. But some people, when they win the Olympic trials tournament, because the last Olympian who made it the previous 4 years or something like that, if they're still in the bid, then you have to wrestle them in a best of 3. And then whoever wins that gets to go to the Olympics. So it's like every 4 years, 12 wrestlers go to the Olympics. That's it.
Damn.
Right?
Crazy.
Right? And then America dominates the Olympics, right? So you think about it like, man, my opponent was the gold medalist, you know? Like, and so it's like, and the gold medalist is like 40 years old. And you're wrestling them at 19, 18 years old, you know? So
which step did you make it to?
The Olympic team trials, I got bumped out quick. I went twice because you have like a few different qualifiers that you can try to go for. So I went to one in Fort Worth and then I went to one in Virginia. And I lost in both of them. I went 1-2 in Fort Worth and then I went 0-2 in Virginia. Like those tournaments are no joke. The one that I almost made it to the podium for was World Team Trials.
Okay.
Yeah. So World Team Trials is pretty.
So that's your next step for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When's the next Olympic?
2028.
Okay. 2028. I need to see you there.
Yes.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy though when I think about it. Because sports, I think sports is something that can really teach you a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
More than everything you've done. Like for example, as you said, like while you were wrestling, just imagine when there's a person, and then now you still use the skills to do it in real life.
Yep.
Event. So yeah. So I mean, what's something that you have learned either to mentor you as a person from wrestling, or just to encourage yourself? Like, okay, there's always other things that I could motivate myself to do by myself or something.
Yeah. I would say, kind of drawing it back to the whole COVID-19 pandemic thing, is to control what you can.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes, like, life seems, you know how it is when you're sad, right? And someone's like, don't worry about it. Or you're anxious and they're like, don't worry about it, or something like that. And you're like, man, it's hard not to worry about it. But sometimes it's actually just that simple, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the way that I think about things. Number one is control what you can. Number two, it is usually those vague answers are really that simple, you know? But yeah, reason why I say that is because, like I said, pandemic, I could have laid up around the house all day and ate snacks and played video games, but I still decided to train, right? It's like sometimes, like, your circumstance doesn't define you, you know?
Okay. So then, I mean, from that time until right now, so do you think, like, okay, so now Olympics already passed, and now we're starting a fresh year. So now, do you think you have much more, like, a visibility of what you can do next to eventually get the points? Because as you said earlier, like, you missed 1 point. So now do you think you have much visible of what to do next time?
I think that, yeah. I'm only smiling thinking about it because wrestling is a dogfight at the end of the day.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm imagining it too. I'm like, whoa, it's crazy.
It is a dogfight at the end of the day. So it's like when I lost the match, like, I was sitting there laughing because I'm like, if we lined up 5 minutes later, I think I could beat you. You know what I mean? So, like, that's the way that I still feel and think, about it. It just all comes down to me doing what I have to do until the next opportunity presents itself, you know?
Yeah.
Which I do what I have to do. Like, got to take care of business, so.
Okay. Okay. And is there another, like, sport or, like, something that was in your mind before you even started wrestling that you wanted to go towards, or was that just like one of the options? Okay.
I did not play no sports. Wrestling was my first sport, and then because of the friends that I met in wrestling, I started doing other sports. But
what other sports was it?
I did football and track.
Wow. Okay. So football, you see that? You just gotta.
That. Hold on.
Okay.
So what made you do football?
So track comes right after wrestling, and I had my senior captain at the time, or no, he was a junior. I had been going to school with him since I was in, like, middle school or something like that, and he always, like, we would have, like, really long talks, and he would kind of take me under his wing and give me advice and stuff like that, because he was a really good athlete, and I really wanted to be a good athlete, but the person that I started as is far from the person that I am today, you know? And so we did track together, whatever, and then he was like, you're going to do football. Like, you're going to do it. It's going to be good for you, you know? And I'm like, man, I'm not doing no football. Like, I'm not going in there with all of them boys. Y'all gonna hit me. Like I don't want to do it. And he was like, just go to the meeting. So, they separate the meeting by grade. And I remember I walked into the room. He walked me to the room. And I walked in, and, like, I was a little bit late already. And, like, all of the dudes looked up at me. Like, they all made eye contact with me at one time, and I walked out. I was like, I'm like, man, I'm not doing this. And he was right there, and he, like, grabbed me by my backpack and, like, shoved me back in the room, and he, like, guarded the room so I couldn't leave.
Yeah.
So I, like, had to go find me a chair, and I, like, sit down. It's all loud and quiet in there because I'm the only girl in a room full of dudes, and they thinking probably like, oh my gosh, a girl want to play football. A water girl,
like, or something. I think most of them, yeah.
Right? I'm like, you're setting me up. Like, you're setting me up to get picked on. But no, I would say, like, Edison in general, for me to have played male-dominated sports, I did not get discriminated against until it was time to compete against other people, you know? Like, our teams were always really cool about stuff like that. In wrestling, they were always really cool about that. Football, they were always really cool about that. Like, even in track, I was a thrower in track, and our best thrower was a dude, and he taught me everything that I know. He still coaches me to this day, like, in everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
In football, what position you play?
I was on the line. I got jumped on the line one time. It was pretty bad. But I was on the line, and then sometimes, like, in the JV games, my coach would throw me into running back. But like on a varsity game, I've been on the line and it was just not fun. Like it was just not. I didn't like football at all. Like I didn't even play foot. I didn't even watch football growing up. Like you couldn't even tell me where the ball was. And then I played a middle linebacker too. I would play middle linebacker and running back for like our JV games, and then on the varsity games, line is way more simpler. So like they would put me on the line.
Okay. Wow. I mean, now do you have siblings, right? Is that something that they see you, they visioned you as something you wanted to do, or now they're still like what?
Yeah. So I have one older sister, and no, like she didn't want to do sports, and she wasn't. Everybody was kind of shocked that I chose sports because, like I said, my family is very artistic. You know, my sister is like she does music and stuff, makes beats, and like my mom also very artistic. Like sports wasn't really something that my family did, so I was the first person to really do it and to actually take off with it. And I would say my family still value things like academics and everything. It's like, yeah, you won a state tournament, but like, go do them dishes. You know, like that's that moment that I have.
Yeah.
That's that moment that I have. Yeah, or like, I'm at the national tournament and she's like giving me attitude, like.
That's right, dude. Let me focus.
yes,
that's never
exactly
their thing, bro. That'd be the crazy part, you know.
Yeah,
that's never their thing. Like I remember, like when we used to run, you know, like practice was 2 times a day. Mm-hmm. So when you are on top, whatever they call it, the elite. You would do like 7 miles in the morning. No, 13 miles in the morning and then 7 miles like around 6 p.m. So we go like 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And then you come like your body doesn't even want to do nothing. You're exhausted. You know, going back to another 7 miles after you did 13 in the morning, you just know it, you know. But then you come back home, they still look at you like you were just sleeping with them, you know.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, what are you guys talking about? You know, exhausted. Or like when I used to do, go do like a 5K, when you used to do, and then when you do a 5K, and then you do like I used to draw, boy. I think my best was like 4:25 or something on a mile. Mm-hmm. And then you do like 3 of those, and then now your body is still vibrating from all the impacts that you had or whatever, not getting enough air or whatever. Yeah. And then coming back home, and then they still make you do all these things. You look back, bro, like, I wish you guys would know what I'm going through, you know?
Right.
That'd be crazy. Okay, babe. Yeah. So, now if I were to ask you a question, what would be something that you can really, like, because you play mostly a man-dominant sport, like, what would be something that you could, like, give most girls? Because, I mean, I think it's a really special thing to do, because most girls really be scared. You know,
yeah.
So like, what's something that you could just tell them, like, okay, this is something that you guys are able to do too, you know?
Yeah, I would say to just have some audacity. Like, if you want to be in a space where people don't want you, you got to have very thick skin. Yeah, you got to have some audacity. Like, people are gonna say things and people are gonna do things that you're not most likely gonna be fond of, but you got to know how to show up for yourself, and the world around you is already going to beat you down enough, so you can't be doing that to yourself. And I spent a lot of my career talking about how not good enough I was, or thinking like, man, maybe I should just quit, or, oh, he's faster than me because he's a boy, and blah, 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 giving myself all of these excuses. But if you, how can I put this? Like, if you're always looking for an excuse, you're going to always find one.
Yeah.
Like, it's always going to be an excuse. There's always going to be a reason why somebody is better than you. It's always going to be a reason why somebody did better than you, why somebody's faster, stronger, taller. You know, it's always going to be a reason. So it's like, are you going to allow that to be the reason why you failed? Or are you going to try, you know? And to take pride in the fact that you tried, especially when you give your maximum effort. Don't let nobody take that away from you. Because me personally, win, lose, or draw, I'm going to walk off the mat talking my stuff. And I'm like, watch next time that we wrestle. You're going to see, you know? Yeah. Or watch next time that we race. You're going to see. And I just come from a very competitive room. So I feel like they instilled that in me.
Okay. So then do you think, like, you competing with, or actually practicing with, like, males, do you think that really motivated you to be much stronger in the things that you do? Okay.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Like, when Texas is really big for women's wrestling, right? And when I got to Texas, they had like this state champ that was on my team, because you know when you get to college, everybody's state champ. Like you're not even different no more for being a state champ. Oh, yeah. And nobody knew. Like I didn't come in there saying anything, you know, like nobody knew. And so we do our wrestle offs and everything. Our wrestle offs is basically to see who gets the varsity spot. And the whole team is from Texas, so they're cheering for the Texas state champ, you know. And I end up teching that girl. And I was like, man, it didn't feel hard. Like, a tech is technical superiority. So in wrestling, if you rack up enough points on someone without them scoring at all, then you're viewed as technically superior, and they'll just stop the match. It's almost like you know, in MMA, you get on top of them, you beat them up, and then they just stop the match. They're like, nah, you done. Like, you done.
Like, you got enough, dude.
Yeah. So, like, that's how it was. But I ended up taking a girl for the varsity spot, and, like, I was thinking to myself, like, man, I didn't even feel that. Because in practice, back at home, I'm getting beat up by men. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fighting for my life at home. They probably mopping the floor with me, and then I get down here and I'm wrestling with other girls, and it's like it's kind of like no, they don't really stand a chance, you know. And so when I come home on breaks and stuff like that, like I said, I still train with all of my guys, like every single one of them, really. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, then as a female too, you know, doing mostly a male dominant sports, like some males might look like, oh, or might be like, okay, how's she doing it, you know, or like that motivation. So normally, let's say when you go to do like practices, or if you only go to like tournaments, like what keeps you focused and motivated to still do you or be a champ or stay focused? You know what I'm saying?
I think after I got to the college level, I was just so proud of myself for making it here that I just started having fun with it. Like all the hard work and stuff was done. I did all the grinding that I had to do. Like at this point, it's fun. Like I'm technically, like I'm a very technical wrestler. I have a lot of speed. All I need to do is keep my gas tank up, and I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't really need very much motivation. Like when I'm going out there now, I'm like, man, I wonder if I could score a point in this type of way instead of this type of way. Or like nowadays, like on the more national level, coaches will know because they'll watch my film, and so they'll tell their athlete, she's gonna do this, right? And I'm like, oh, let's see if you stop it. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have like that type of mindset. So I think of it more like, you know, having fun, playing a game, scoring points.
Okay, and then I mean, is there a time when you're, let's say for example, as you said, like some coaches be watching and see where you're coming from, you know? Is there a time when you did like something surprising they wasn't expecting and they were like, what the hell?
Yeah. I always pull a throw out my bag. Like, cause I do a blast double, right? A blast double it's almost like, it looks kind of like a tackle, but it's way more technical than that. Like it's really hard to time, and you gotta be real quick to do it. And like, oh, you know, a double is coming. So sometimes I'll double and I'll shoot a bad shot just so I can get in, and then I'll turn around and do what's called an arm spin, and it'll flip their whole body like over my head. Damn. And then they'll like pin them, and they don't ever see that coming. I'm like,
how do you try to
bro? I try to imagine it.
I can show you like a video later, but it's like, I don't know. That's probably one of my favorite things to do, because I'm like, man, now I don't even have to like grind through this whole 6-minute match no more. You know, like we could just get it over quick. Because, like, you expected that, and then it caught you off guard.
So if you wrestled him, you would fold his ass up, huh?
Yeah, probably. Like, she said something I couldn't even imagine what that was.
Man, where she said, that's flip crazy. You in the air?
Yeah. No. That's crazy. Okay. And then is there, like, let's say, for example, when I used to do sports, there's a time when, for example, we go to do, like, tournaments or running. And then there's those elites. They show you like elites people, like, okay, this person is good. But then is there a time when even the coaches have shared with you and tell you, okay, this person is great, but then you went to wrestle them and you're like, bro, what are you guys talking about?
No, my coach is crazy. Like my coach is an Olympian, right? Oh, and so any doubt that I ever have in myself, she will yell at me for ever doubting myself. Like I remember wrestling. I was at this tournament one time, and I remember there was this girl. She used to be really good on the national level in high school, and I was so scared to wrestle her. I was like, Coach, like, I used to see her wrestle. I can't believe we're the same weight class now. And she looked at the girl, and she got an attitude with me. She's like, like she got mad. She's like, like, why are you? This girl don't even deserve to line up across from you. Like, what are you talking about? You know? And I go out there and I take that girl too, and I was like, you know, like I think it's all really about mindset, because sometimes you could beat yourself before you even start. Like you could beat yourself for your opponent just thinking that you don't deserve to be there. And sometimes I do feel like that. You know, we got Olympians that are my age, right? And so it's like I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like at the world tournament, right? We had like, I was in the line with like 2 girls. One of them won silver at the Olympics and one of them won gold at the Olympics this year, right? And I'm sitting here in line with them waiting to weigh in. And I walk back over to my coach. I'm like, Coach, so-and-so and so-and-so were just in this line. And then some honorable mentions. I'm like, man, look at all these people. And they were all in my weight class. They were all in my line, you know? And she was telling me, she was like, man, like the moment that you start viewing yourself as one of those big names alongside of them, life is going to really start looking up for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you have to think about it like, okay, everybody has to lose. Like, that girl went to the Olympics and won silver. She lost that day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's the thing about wrestling, there's only one winner, you know? So it's like everybody has to lose. You could be the best in the room. You could be the best in the world that day, and then you could wrestle the next day and still lose. Like, you don't sit on the throne for more than 2 seconds, you know? So, yeah, my coach is pretty crazy. And she keeps me, like, mentally level to tell myself that I deserve to be here. I deserve to be in these spaces, you know? Yeah.
Okay. Let's say now there's a girl that's watching. It can be more than sports in general. According to life or like the stuff that you've learned, mostly being in mostly male-dominant sports. Like there's a young girl who want to be mostly maybe in doing wrestling or do any sports. To be honest, I could actually jump into a male-dominant, whatever it is in the world. You know, what would be something you really can tell them that you learned from just being male-dominant sports or in general?
Something that I learned from being in male-dominated sports or just sports in general, you said?
Just male-dominant. Or let's say male-dominant career-wise.
Anything, like, it can be, like, business-wise. They, like, what's something that can motivated you that can help them out, just be, like, to encourage them and, like, motivate them?
I would just keep it generic. Like, hard work beats talent at the end of the day, you know? Because I was battling against men physically, which was crazy when you think about it scientifically. You know what I mean? Like, you're obviously going to be stronger than me, but I still walked out there and did it. But the more that I trained, the more that I conditioned, the more that I worked on my speed, the more that I worked on my technique, the more men that I was able to beat, because they were relying on their natural given gifts, you know? Things that they were born with. So the same thing happens in a business field. Like, you can't, I'm a business major. You know what I'm saying? Just because you walk in there with the same degree as everybody else don't guarantee that you're going to have it, you know? You got to, what's going to make you stand out? You got to kind of cling to what makes you different and try to grow those things.
Okay.
That's nice.
All right, baby. You guys already heard it here, man.
I
I'll tell you
heard
guys,
it, man.
like, there's so much you guys can learn from this podcast as always, you know? So, yeah, Nari, what's something I would tell you before when we finish? Let's say there's something from your heart you really can give anybody. Or what keeps you motivated?
It's gonna be a male.
Yeah.
Something from my heart that motivates me?
Yeah.
Ooh.
In general, with school, life around.
You already dropped the quote that I'm gonna steal from you. just.
Yeah, something that motivates me. Let's think. I'm trying to think about when times get hard at school. Like, what do I remind myself?
Can be a person too.
Like a person that motivates me?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Who's the person that motivates you?
Yeah. I feel like I have it on the tip of my tongue, though. Because it is something that I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, to be where your feet are. My roommate says that all the time. Be where your feet are, be present. And I know it may seem like, oh, well, how does that motivate you, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if y'all can see it. The screensaver on my phone is a bear that's looking at the mountain, right? And he's just looking at a mountain, and he's looking over like this sea. And every time that my friends see it, they always ask me why I have it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, we are all in this rat race right now. We're all trying to make it. We're all trying to be rich, famous, the best in the world, blah, 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 blah. And somewhere out there in the woods, it's a bear looking at the water and how beautiful it is, right? And like I just think about how beautiful like life is. Like God put all of this stuff here for us, and sometimes we forget to actually just enjoy it. So reminding myself to be mindful, reminding myself to be present, reminding myself that like these moments don't last forever, and not only do they not last forever, they don't define me. It keeps me going. Cause like, say for example, I fail an exam or something like that, and now I'm feeling like a failure, but it's just a piece of paper and it's just an exam, and the exam don't exist if I don't allow it to. You know?
Oh yeah, very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, I heard it, man. That was real.
Okay.
Y'all didn't catch it? Replay the video, man. You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Oh, well, okay. I mean, yeah.
Appreciate you
to cut it short. Because of time and stuff. Nari, I just want to say thank you for coming to our podcast.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, that was very late. Oh, we're in the 40 minutes. That felt like nothing, but okay, that's what's up. So, I mean, you can give a shout out to yourself, media wise.
Oh, I forgot it. It's Narri Miller with 2 R's on Instagram. So NARIMILLERR on Instagram. Just Narri Miller on Facebook. Narchives on YouTube. So my first name NAR and then like archives and then end it with a Z. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's really it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then one last thing before we finish up. What are your goals for the 2025 year?
My goal for the 20. Okay, so recently I tore my UCL and I gave myself like a day or two to be sad about it, and then I hopped on everything that I could do to still compete in 2025 so I can compete. And so I'm still going to try to make it to nationals even though they haven't let me compete this whole year. I think I could still just jump out the water and do it though. I don't know. I looked at my competition. I don't think they got nothing on me. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to go to nationals. This summer my goal was to kind of speed it up and take like a summer like semester, right? So I can be closer to my master's degree.
Okay.
And get it in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So those are like my 2 biggest goals, academically and athletically. I don't know, be alive, serve God, have fun.
Yeah. Okay, baby.
Okay.
Well, Nari, thank you very much for coming.
Appreciate you one more time.
Coming. Yeah, you guys gonna see a part 2. You guys better be ready. This was just a soft. You feel me? So, you guys stay safe. We love you guys. This is YMP. Take care.